crafting buddies. It is Lori from Lori's Little Bit of Crafting. Late Night Lori is coming to you at, looks like 11:40 p.m. on Wednesday, September 10th. Hopefully, yep, I have sound. I have my cordless mic on just in case I need to go get any supplies. I think I gathered everything. It's pretty basic. I am excited about the new products that Stampin' Up! Released this month. So September 3rd, our catalog started and it goes till January 5th. That's just got a ton of fun. Hey, Sala, welcome. It's got just a ton of fun seasonal type things, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Halloween stuff in there. But there's also online exclusives, and that's what I'm going to use tonight. So Sala and whoever else joins us, we are going to play with the Ornamental Christmas. And I'm actually kind of taking a break tonight, and I'm going to cheat again. And I'm going to case some stuff that Stampin' Up! Has already designed. So last night, I was hoping that Juju would pop by because we did these fun cards yesterday. And when I looked at my YouTube channel, it doesn't look like those videos have populated yet. So I don't know if maybe I'm getting put in, is there YouTube jail for some reason? Anything? I don't know. But I have gone live every single night. So hopefully at some point those videos will come back up. But this is what we worked on last night. But I also, after we were done, cut out some little snowflakes pieces. And this is actually 3 pieces because it's just like a propeller. But we did a few different varieties. And Juju made me fussy cut these little detailed flowers. And then there was another one that I thought that snowflake would look good on. So that's what we did yesterday, last night, and earlier this morning. So let me just get those out of the way. And I think what we're going to do first is I did a card with this Modern Christmas Specialty Designer Series paper not too long ago. And Robert, if you're selling something we're not buying, but hello. I made a project with these hoops that I had left over. And yeah, I know I have to do that with mine too. And I've been doing that regularly, and these have already had that done. I've already done that. I've gone in and I've reset them to unlisted, resaved it, gone in and put them back to public again. And they're still just sitting there saying they're processing. So I think the one from the 8th didn't drop, and the one from yesterday didn't drop yet. So I'm not sure what the deal is on that. So anyway, hopefully I'll figure it out at some point. So I was using these hoops because that's all I had, because I hadn't ordered the whole suite. And when I did order the whole suite, these hoops are 3 3/8 inches. These are just 2. So there is a really big difference in size from the old ones, but I think the old ones coordinate. So I just have a few of these left over. So I may still end up using those. So this one, we're going to kind of make an ornament. And let me get back to my other screen here. This is a cling stamp. So this is going to be one of the last cling stamps. I know the bigger ones are really cool. Last year, I think it was, we had that like Oh Holy Night paper, I think, that had like the nativity scene. Either that was last year or the year before. I don't remember. I think it was last year. And it had the little nativity scene, and I had made some ornaments out of these using that set. But we're going to use these. So we've got um, some ornament dies, there's some trees, there's a snowflake star sort of thing. So we're going to use that with this for the first one. And I'm going to go ahead and burnish my note card. This is just going to be a little note card, which is 5 by 7, and it's scored at 3.5. And we can mail note cards here in the US as if it's like a regular card. And I thought Sarah was on a live not too long ago. Somebody had asked the same thing. It might have been this week. And she said, yeah, they mail. I might need a bigger card, huh? Oh, this is for a different one. This is for a different disregard. We're using the hoop. I don't need a card. We are, Sarah had said, sorry, I'm just a little distracted today. Sarah had somebody had asked Sarah about whether they can mail the note cards, and she said they mail them to all our different markets without any trouble, so it should be fine. But I'm going to get out little Betsy here, and we are going to go ahead and die cut a couple of things that we need for this ornament. And I will try to zoom this in a little bit again. Hopefully that'll be enough. And we're going to go ahead and cut out the ornament. That should fit. Ooh, it just barely fits on here. And I want these lines to be straight. I don't want to Kakalovich ornament. See, I show 6 people watching on my end. Thanks for the thumbs up. Now I see 8 people. Yeah, so welcome, people. Feel free to chime in, comment, collaborate. Hello, Bonnie. Welcome back. All right, and then I'm working on a little ornament right now. And I am using Ornamental Christmas and the Modern Christmas Specialty Designer Series paper. And let me just take a look at my, there we go. Just seeing if I could see something else with my settings. All right, so that popped out of there. I think that's all I'm going to die cut for here. I did a little fussy cutting in advance so that you wouldn't all have to suffer with me. So this mistletoe we're going to add on here. So I cut around there most of the way, but I thought, well, I want you to know that I at least did my own fussy cutting because there's no die for this. I've been getting a lot of fussy cutting in the last many days. All right. And we are going to use our alcohol blends and give that a little extra color. So I have brought in I'm going to have a fair amount of Christmas cards all ready to go, but I'll have some samples because I'll do some classes. So we're going to start with, I don't have an assistant either. I'm going to start with some lemon lime twist, and I'm just going to give these mistletoe leaves a little base color. And then we'll do some blending. So as a reminder, markers are going away. So if you are a big marker fan, you'll want to check out the store and see what markers are available. I have not looked. I don't use markers a lot. So that was Lemon Lime Twist. I've got some Mossy Meadow here, and I'm just going to do a little bit of shading for blending on here where Stampin' Up! Already has some emphasis lines. And I see I missed a little section here that should be green. I think I need a moderator. All right. And I'm going to use, this is light mossy meadow. We'll see how that works. Oh, I need another little bit here. And then we're just going to start doing a little blending. I know it might seem a little dark because this is the light mossy meadow. The other was the dark mossy meadow. But I'm going to go back over with, here's some light old olive. Let's see how that is. I might want to do some more lemon lime twist. I think I will. I want the lighter color. I think that'll be pretty good. All right, so there's our little mistletoe. And then I'm going to stamp this sentiment on a piece. And guess what? I'm going to have to fussy cut it. So this we're going to do in Ornamental Black. Well, we're going to see how easy we can make this ornament work. We'll see what my sentiment looks like here. That looks pretty good. I'm going to leave some of that on so it gives me a little something to hang on to. And I'm not going to do it super well. Part of this is going to be straight anyway, so I don't have to be super close with everything. I don't know. It's fussy cussing's fussy cussing. That's that's what Juju called it last night. Fussy cutting seems to be a trend for my September. Normally, I avoid it because it's putsy, which is all right. I'm a putsy stamper. I don't mind putsy, but it's been a lot lately. I think I need to be more careful when I buy my supplies and make sure I'm picking out stuff that has dyes, right? I think what I'm going to do is go from this angle here and cut that little piece out of there. And then I can kind of curl that a little bit more. Yes, there is cussing. In fact, Juju said she would have been swearing by then. And I'm like, well, I don't swear very often, but when I do, look out because I've had my fill. Some people, swearing is just kind of like a normal part of their vocabulary, and I try not to be that way because, we've got a granddaughter and I wouldn't want her to say some of the words that I hear coming out of people's mouths, so I try to set a good example. I'm going to see how that looks without going too deep, I guess. And then the home stretch is going to be pretty easy because this is straight, although if you just kind of wiggle your scissors a little bit and you can make some notches, it looks like you did fussy cutting on purpose all around there. Do you ever do that? I didn't necessarily follow the letters so much as I did just kind of go up and down. All right. Yeah, usually it's totally worth it. Sometimes I am just not at all happy with it and then I trash it and start something else. So I do have to fix this little bit here though, because it's kind of tight in there. Let's go a little bit more with the tips and see what I can do here. All right, I think that'll work. I think I can be satisfied with that. All right, so with this suite, we have these twines. So it doesn't give me the colors on here, but this is like white with gold and this is black with gold. And what I usually like to do is I start my rolls and then I can find the end. What do you know? And what I like to do is make a slit in the side of the bag. And then I'll put the roll back in the bag, but I'll try to feed the end through the hole that I just made. Thank you, Sala. Do you go live every day? I forgot. So here we're just going to kind of, the first time I do this, it's a little bit of a struggle, but you'll see in a minute why I do this. Let me grab my tweezers. There we go. So what I want to do is make sure that my twine are both rolling or unrolling in the same direction. In fact, I'm going to flip this one over so the twine is coming off the bottom. And then we'll put this one through as well. And that one worked better. And then I can just put those in there. And then when I want to pull it off, I can just pull it right from here. And then I don't have these rolling on the floor. So you only do Monday mornings and then sometimes on the weekends. I think you did tell me that before. All right, so we are going to use, let's see here, I think just the black and the gold. So I want to pull off enough so that we can loop this. And this was an ornament idea from last year too, they did, but I see it in the samples now this year. So we're going to put this up like so. And I'm kind of almost quadrupling. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Quadrupling the ring because I'm going to put a knot up here, but then we're going to put a bow on here as well. Okay. Let me get my ribbon scissors. We're going to do this. And we're going to put a glue dot down on the bottom. We're going to roll it into a little like burrito, hopefully. because we want that to hold our twine. And if there was a seam on here, an obvious seam, I would make sure that I put my glue dot on the seam, but these seem like they're seamless. I don't see any matching end, so that's kind of cool. I don't remember, do these from last year? I guess these don't have either. There's not like a ridge that's an end, so that's good. All right. So then what we'll do is we'll have this folded in half, if I can pick it up. And we will put that fold on our glue dot. And then we're going to put another glue dot up here. And again, I'm trying to roll it so it's narrow. And I want it to go straight up and down. So if we put our ring on here and find kind of where the center is, must be right about like that. Because I want this to go straight up and down. So that looks pretty good. I'm going to put my little glue dot here, and I'll wrap that around. And we'll stick it on here. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and tie a knot here at the base of the ring. And I'm basically doing a square knot. It won't really look like one. All right, but let's go ahead and make sure that that's stuck on our glue dot. I think that's pretty close. And then we're going to end up putting just a knot on the end of here as well. What's the weather like by you, Sala? Is it more mild? We're supposed to have some warmer weather. We haven't had a freeze yet, so we still have mosquitoes, and somehow one of them ended up in my studio. So the other thing I want to do with this is use my Take Your Pick tool and kind of fray this out a little bit. And then I should have cut out 2 of these. I'll do that later because I really want one on both sides because I don't want the back. I want the back to look the same as the front. All right. So that's going to go on there. Let me find another piece of that designer series paper. I'll just cut another piece. Oh, here we go. I'll just cut another one of these out. I'm just going to set up my little Betsy over here. Oh, that's the wrong piece. There we go. All right, one more time here. Hang in there. I'm getting there. All right, I'm almost done. I had to cut a scrap. There we go. All right, so you're going to be back in the 90s for the next week, Bonnie. Okay, cool. I like it warm myself. We're supposed to have a warming trend too. Um, well, let's see. 0 Celsius is freezing for us, so that's 32 degrees. So I don't know, maybe that's like 50s. Oh, 60, 68 to 73. Sorry, Bonnie, I didn't see that you had already looked that up. And I'm going to cut another one of these little black ornament toppers on. Yeah, we're supposed to warm. We've been still in the 70s. Hey, I finally got the mosquito that was flying around here. There we go. That's my official way of getting my dies unstuck when it works. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to put, I think I'm going to put some glue on the edges and maybe the top. And then I'm going to put a dimensional or two in the middle. And I'm going to use the dark ones if I can find some. Here we go. So we'll put some of those in the middle and that'll give it just a little bit of shape. I'm going to have to get my take your pick tool because I have the glue on there. All right, so this will go here. We're going to put this so that it's centered. And then we're going to put this right on top of the other one. And there's our little ornament. Now this piece, I'm going to glue on top of here. Yeah, I don't usually look stuff up. So if I've got my live going, I don't go off of my live screen. So I have gotten to the point where I have my phone is recording. My iPad is in front of me so I can kind of watch the comments as best I can. Sometimes I can't keep up. Depends on how many people are chatting. And the more that are chatting, I don't mind that I miss stuff. Because that means you guys are having fun amongst yourselves, which is fine. And then I have my computer off to the side so that if I want to have a sample up or if I want to type a comment, it's much easier for me to type on the computer because I've got the regular keyboard. All right, so here's our 'Tis the Season. We're going to put our little mistletoe on here, and our little 'Tis the Season is going to go on there. And I think what I'll do is I'll do another mistletoe for the other side, but I'm just not going to worry about that for what we're doing now so that we can move on to the next card. And I don't know why lately, but when I've been going live, I've been getting so hungry. My stomach has been growling. So I'm going to put dimensionals on this as well, because I think it'll go right in between. Thank you, Sala. It's not my idea. I'm casing it from Stampin' Up, but at least you can see how it's going together. I didn't look at the recipe at all. I just kind of look at the picture and get it close, you know. And I'm just going to use that stripe there to kind of line up those letters. And then we need to put a bow on here. So the sample shows it with the black and gold, but I'm wondering if I colored some basic beige, if I colored that some of the greens, how that might look. Let me just get a piece of scrap out of here. And let me hook that die where it belongs so I don't lose it. All right, so if we were to do a bow, I need a little bit longer. Yeah, the other night, how many comments came through? There were like 3 or 400 comments. You know, a lot of times it's between 100 and 200, um, which is fun. I enjoy having all of the comments. So let's do the light old olive and see how that looks. So if you color ribbon, just make sure you're using an alcohol blend. Otherwise, you're going to have color smudging off every time you touch it. And it could bleed onto other things depending on what they're made of. I'm sure I could find some old, um, more metallic ribbon because there was some that like 1/8 inch silver and gold ribbon. I think that's retired now because it's not in my bin of things that are current. I try to keep up on all that, but I get so far behind. And actually, even though I've been doing videos more often, I'm keeping up on some of that stuff better than when I wasn't doing a lot of videos. It seems like I still couldn't keep up on new and retired and whatever. Yeah, it is all about engagement. And I appreciate all the engagement. So it looks like my glue dot got a little flattened out, but I'll be okay. I can always put some, I can dab it with my embossing buddy. All right, so I have to turn this upside down because I've mentioned before when I try to tie a bow, for some reason, it goes upside down. And I don't know if it's because I'm left-handed or how I make the tie. And how I make the tie might be because a right-handed person taught me how to tie my shoes. I don't know. So let's try to get this straight here. All right. Just adjust this size a little bit and then try to slide it back down here. Well, I don't know what happened there. It got all crazy. Let's try this again. Maybe it's that knot that I did there. Let's try doing right side up. Maybe it'll work. Maybe if I go under, my tails will stay down. Because I think usually I might go over the top. And I know when I do like bunny ear tying, that definitely I have to do upside down. There, I think that'll work. Sometimes my bows are very cooperative and other times not so much. So I think that works. Let's just trim it. I think we'll go this way. No, I think I'll go this way. There. Doing the bow probably took more time than anything else. Well, no, the fussy cutting, I suppose. So there's our little ornament. So we've got, it's about 3.5-ish almost inches. And then the back side, well, I probably wouldn't have to do anything on the back side. But when it hangs on the tree, if it swings around, you probably want something on the back. So I'll do that another time. So there's our ornament. All right, let me get some of these things under control so that they're where I need them the next time I need them. And let me wash off this stamp we used because I think that's the only one I have to use this on. All right. Let's see what is next. Let me move this catalog. I don't need that either. So the catalog shows, yeah, I think the colored ribbon looks different. If you go into the online store and look up Ornamental Christmas and just look at the samples, it's like the first sample after the dies, but it just shows it with the black and gold ribbon, and I just think it looks a little more substantial here. But that's kind of fun. And it would probably be fun too with like a solid designer series paper or cardstock behind it too. But I like the airy look because then the ornament can move and probably pick up the lights off the tree. All right, so let's just set that up there. And for this one then, for our second one, we are going to change it up a little bit. The samples that Stampin' Up! Has, it's like maybe a 4x4 or a 5x4 or a 5x5 rather. And I'm going to do it just as a regular card size. So I cut ahead of time the couple of the snowflake stars. I cut just one of these because that looks like that's all we need. And then we need a couple of berries. And we need like one of those, but I might glue them together to get them a little bit more lifted. And then there's a layer of this for the card. So this would even be fun as a stencil on a card. So I'm going to hang on to that. I should have probably moved it in a little bit so that I don't have, if I use blending brushes on there. But yeah, these are really pretty. And I'm going to show you, this is not the current gold and copper and tungsten specialty paper. I used up all my gold already. So this is just plain old gold from my stash, but it'll have to do until my next order comes in because I'm going to have to order more. So I'm just going to cut out some of these little mistletoe berries because we need like beads for our ornament. That's what it looks like to me on the sample. And I'm cutting close on this circle because I don't want those black edges to show because I just want the gold part. And I'm also going to cut out this littler one that looks like it's a full one. And then that's going to become part of our ornament. All right. Just trim this so it seems a little more rounded. All right, so there's that. So this piece I've cut down to like 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 ish, because that's what I'm going to put on my card front. So the Stampin' Up! Design looks like it's a square, either 4x4 or 5x5. And I don't know if it's like a card that they would do a specialty envelope for, But I just wanted a little bit of white border on these trees. And then our ornament, we're going to stamp. I guess we're going to use that 'tis the season again. What do you know? Now, should I do that in the Memento black or should I add a pop of color with maybe red? The sample just shows everything black, white, and gold. But I also think I want to color one of the trees. So let me show you kind of what this layout's going to be. So we are going to use some of the twine to make it look like the ornaments are hanging. Okay, so that's going to go there. Oh, and this is going to come on here too. So this will come on here. And I cut this a little bit smaller than what the sample shows just because I don't want to cover up all my tree stuff. So this is going to go here. And then the star is going to have a string on it as well. And that's just going to hang down here. What I was thinking is I'm going to score this on all these score lines and try to make it stand out a little bit and see how it looks, making it look like it's a rounded kind of ornament. Does that make sense? And then these I'm just going to put together. So let's go ahead and do that right now so I don't lose one of those pieces because I just want them to stick out a little bit. We'll let that kind of set. All right, so let me pull out my scoring tool here, my trimmer, and I'll show you what I mean. Just going to take one of these and we are going to score it right down the middle. And I'm going to do it gently because I don't want to rip this paper, right? All right, and then I'm going to score the next one. And then we'll score the next long one. And then I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to score these shorter ones going the other way. Now we had that star punch. Was that from the last catalog last year for September to December? And that, if you scored all of the lines, you could turn it into like a 3D star, which is what popped through my head when I saw this. So let's just see how this works. And if I don't like it, I've got my backup. All right, so there's that one. I probably could have scored it a little bit deeper. Those are kind of narrow. I could have scored those a little deeper, I guess. I wanted to be careful though. So one more. It'll be close enough. Maybe. I think it'll be close enough. All right, we'll see. All right. That'll work. And then let's see about folding these. I'm probably going to have to score them again because I don't think I scored them deep enough. I was trying to be super gentle. Let's see if that's any better. Maybe I'll just do the tips because these slats here just don't want to cooperate. I actually think that'll probably look all right anyway. Sometimes it's a struggle. All right, so the little short ones kind of go in and the other ones go up. See how that is? You see kind of how it stands up there? Let's see how it all looks. So let's go ahead and I think I'm going to do this. Did we say in color or not? Red? Okay. Now you weren't here last night. I am going to do an embossing technique so we can have the red kind of embossed. And maybe you've already seen this too. Let me go get my real red because I didn't bring that over. And what we will do is stamp the real red on first. And then we'll do embossing, the Versamark, I mean. So let's first take our embossing buddy. It's just clear, so I don't have to worry a whole lot about the static on here, I guess. It's just kind of a habit. So I'm going to go ahead and put the red ink on there, and I'm going to get the clear powder ready. Oh, that is not what I wanted to do. I wanted to stamp with the Versamark first. Start over. I'll just clean that off. And what made me realize I did this backwards from what I wanted is that if I put that stamp in the Versamark, then the Versamark would turn red. And that would also not be the top ink. All right, so let's try this again. Act like you didn't just see that last part. All right, so first off, I'm gonna put this on my jeans just a little bit more, make sure it dries off. We are gonna put Versamark on here first. All right. So that's the first on. That is gonna be the last off for ink. I'm gonna tap it in here. And then we're gonna put this on here. And hopefully that's pretty straight. And then we're going to put on our clear embossing powder. And you can see that it's stuck. Now you can try to do the embossing powder with just the regular ink, but it dries so much faster than the Versamark. So by putting the Versamark on first and then tapping it on the red, it doesn't matter if I get any clear ink on there. If some of it transfers, it doesn't really matter. Because then when I stamp it down, the red is on the bottom because that is what was on top, and then the Versamark is on top because that was the first ink on, last ink off. Hopefully I'm explaining that well enough. All right, so let's close this up. Get it out of the way. Clean that off and put that away. All right, so let me get my heat gun. And we'll make it all shiny. Either way, I would have embossed it, either with the black or with the red, because I just want it to be a little glitzier. And Sally and Bonnie both, I think you've probably heard me before if you've seen me emboss before. I like to heat from the back because then I can see all of the shimmer as it turns. And then I know if I've gotten everything. If I have my heat gun on top, then I can't necessarily see it. All right. So let's bring this all back in. Now, the other thing that I think I wanted to do is color one of these trees to give it an additional focal point. So if this is going to sit like here, so these are going to get attached, and that's going to be like a basket weave. Now, when I put it in an envelope to mail it, this is obviously going to flatten out some. So I'm going to put dimensionals inside there, and I'm going to put 2 of them. I'm going to double up the dimensionals for that center, just to kind of keep it a little more lifted. Because I think it does look pretty with them stacked like a basket, like an open weave basket. And then I'm going to put glue dots on the tips because I think that'll work better for me than glue on the metallic paper. Hopefully I'm keeping on screen. Fifi hasn't been here for a couple of nights. Hope she's okay. Yeah, and I do the gift giving that we give is usually in person, so I don't have to ship stuff. But if I ship it, I don't worry about it because I'll put the card right in the box and it won't get flattened. Or I can just attach it to like a gift bag if I'm doing a local gift and hand deliver it. All right, let's see how this looks. All right, let's line up a point first. Those glue dots are going to be pretty sticky. And they are indeed sticky. There. It might not look like much to you from where you are, but I think it looks pretty cool. Yeah, it does. This is a little misaligned, so let me get that in there. Little glue dot hanging out there. So this will hang here. So let me get a couple of pieces of the twine. And we're going to use the lighter twine. So just imagine, if you will, what this will look like kind of tucked under here, because that's going to go like that. This one is going to go under here also, like so. This little berry is going to go up here. It's actually going to be a bead. That's how the sample shows. And this is going to go here and be a bead there. So it's a little rough right now how it's sitting because I need to get this all centered here. So create an ornament like with that star or the snowflake. Yeah, absolutely. Or a whole layer on the back of the card, you mean? Like have a rectangular ornament? So that's kind of the look there. Now, if I was, and this is not, this is red ink. So don't think I'm dripping on anything. All right, so this will go here. So what do you think if I colored like one of these trees a light green? Do you think that would look dopey? Of course, I haven't glued it yet, so I could always color it and take it off. Yeah, the star, that would make a cute little ornament. All right, so that's kind of laying similar. I think I'm going to have that star down a little bit further. And I'll have this on dimensional, so it'll pop out. So I'm thinking one of these little trees down here, maybe green, or just leave it black and white with the red sentiment. Let me find a little tree here. There we go. I'll just color one and then we'll cut it out and see how it looks. I'm gonna do light old olive. And maybe a little dark old olive in the middle. So what do you think of that? With just the tree, that star could actually go in front. I kind of like it with that little tree on there. Just a little pop of color instead of just the black and white. All right, let's just trim this one down. So I need this. Where did my other little dot go? Oh, and I still have to put this on the star. So that's supposed to go there on the star. Let's do a glue dot for that too. Oops. Oh, some of these glue dots just don't want to come off. I think we'll go like this. Okay. So the other thing I'm going to do is right on here, we're going to put, how do I want to do this? I'm going to put a little Stampin' Seal. It hasn't been called snail for quite a long time. Stampin' Seal. We're going to put that there and that there. And then I'm going to use some tear tape and just have a little insurance. And then when we flip this over, they'll be ready to go for the star and the other ornament. So that'll go there. And then I can't lose my other little dot. So let me trim this down. Oh. So if we put on that on there, we'll just have the littlest border of white around there. That's a fun side too. No, I like the trees better for this one. And I have to lay mine sideways. And then usually what I do is just kind of run my fingers down to keep it aligned. Usually it's pretty straight, although I need to pull it up this time. There. There we go. let's go ahead and put this down here. Since we already put our twine on, I don't have to worry about tucking it in, because knowing me, I would have forgotten and glued it on first. And then this is going to come down here. Now, it doesn't have to go super far, of course, but I wanted it to be long enough. And I think what I'll do is maybe put some tear and tape on there. I'm going to go this way. There's a little glue dot there that I want to be covered. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to put my tear and tape on here. And then when we peel off the backing, I'm just going to fold in those edges. And that's going to help hold that white and gold baker's twine in place. So we can actually cut. Yeah, the star alone would be good too, wouldn't it? I think we can probably stop there. So I'm going to put just my scissors here to help hold this. Come on. And then I'm just going to, this actually has to go lower, I guess. Oh, that didn't work. Actually, I can hold it down from this side instead. There we go. That works. All right, and then our ornament, I can put up on a couple of dimensionals so it sits up off that star. So let's put this down. I want to make sure it's not hanging over the edge of my card. That's covering up a lot of the star. More than I wanted to happen. Oh well. I guess we're just going to have this ornament kind of hanging on without a string. I should have moved the star down a little bit further, I guess. I didn't plan ahead far enough. Because now I lost my little circle, didn't I? That was supposed to be the bead at the top of my ornament. Yes, I did. So maybe what I'll do is, I would like to find that. I was keeping such good track of it too. I don't know what happened to it. I'll cut another one. That didn't take that long. Yeah, hindsight is always 20/20, isn't it? It would have been easier to put that on there and then attach that, but then I don't know. My left-handed brain, I should have practiced this ahead of time, and then I wouldn't have had the issue because I would have worked out all those little kinks ahead of time. So let me get a piece of paper that has that little circle on it. And you know I will find it when we're all done. You know it'll turn up. Oh well. Let's find a mistletoe piece. And we'll cut out another berry. And I think what I'll do is just make a loop of that twine. I kind of wasted this twine. Actually, we could pull that out of here. and just do a loop maybe. There. That'll be like it belonged that way. Now I'll cut this out because the sample does show a little bauble on the top of the ornament. All right. So that on the sample is like right there. So I guess we'll do that. And I'll use a little dimensional for that, I think, because that'll help hold that ribbon down. Yeah, next time I'll do that twine different. Hindsight is 2020. Or I thought I was being so brilliant by attaching that twine to the back right away so I wouldn't have to tuck it later. All right, and then this one is supposed to go down at the bottom here. And it looks like they actually have twine wrapped around this whole black piece, but their black layer is bigger than what I picked. I made mine a little bit smaller because I wanted to see more of the trees. Fifi, we wondered where you were. All right, so there's that. I think that's all there's on there. I'm wondering if it needs some kind of bling though. But you've got all the gold accents, so. All right, so there's number 2. And let me get this die put away. And on the last one, and I'll get my embossing stuff put away here. On the last one, that one is the one that I had the note card pulled for. Oh, Netflix. What did you watch? I don't have Netflix. I don't watch very many movies, but I did get tickets for Downton Abbey for my husband and I to have kind of a date night on Friday. So I don't know where these were all supposed to go here. Oh, there. All right, so I need this circle. I need this. And I need these. Yeah, we don't go to the movies much. My husband likes to watch more like the History Channel and Smithsonian stuff on TV. And if I'm in here, I can hear it if I want to go watch something. And then we're going to use this black and gold twine. So yours was unknown number. That does sound like it could be like a horror or thriller movie. I've never heard of it. All right, let's get some of this debris out of the way. All right, so let's start with the note card. So this is a 5 by 7. It's scored at 3.5. We're going to go ahead and burnish this. It's a documentary on what? All right. And we've got this stamp from here. I'm still doing Ornamental Christmas. I'm doing all of them out of the same stamp set. And we're going to use the Memento Black. And we are going to put a little whimsical line on here. We're going to go, I think, like so. Well, you will have to tell us to give away the ending because I don't have Netflix, so I'm probably never going to see it. And I don't mind if I know the ends of the movies. It doesn't bother me. And this, because I want this to kind of go like so, I'm going to just put it up like that. Ew. But it's a documentary? It does sound like a thriller. All right, so that looks weird, right? Not to worry, that's going to get covered up. All right, we'll wash this. And I need a piece of black because this is going to get cut out. So this is like 3 by 3. So I think I'm going to have to use my bigger die cut machine. Yep, that'll work. All right. Bossy Bessie's coming to the rescue. Okay, I don't object. Was it one of their parents sending them text messages? Oh, never mind. Fifi, you'll just have to send me a text message or an email. Lots of bad language. Well, I'm used to hearing it. I just don't. I try not to speak it. So Fifi, you'll have to send me an email to tell me the jaw-dropping ending because Sally wants to be in suspense. All right, so we've got this. Oh, I guess I do still need my embossing things because we are going to emboss on here in gold. All right, and we are going to put Merry Christmas on here. Okay, well, my phone is recording, so I will look for it later. All right, definitely putting my embossing buddy pretty good on here. And I did not put my phone on Do Not Disturb, so hopefully it won't lock up. All right. So, Versamark. All right. And we don't have to worry about if it's straight or not because it's a circle, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, let's get our gold on here. We'll just let that sit there for a second or two. Okay, that did really good. I see just a couple little flecks over here. All right. Let me get my heat gun warmed up. Really? Third most popular movie? See, I don't get out enough. I have no idea of course, like I said, I don't have Netflix. Look at that magic going on there. I love embossing. But those metallic rub-ons, if you've seen me use those before, Those are pretty slick too if um, you don't want to buy all the things for embossing. All right, so that's started. And then I need to cut these out in gold. And again, I am going to have to use my old scrappy gold. Did I still have a piece out here? I thought I still had some gold. I'll go grab another piece. I'm not sure what I did with the gold. I thought I had it still handy. Oh, I see where it is. I'm going to use scraps from the star. So we're going to do some of these. And this is nice because in this die set, Stampin' Up! Gives us 2 of these pieces for these little like diamond things. So that can go there. And then they give us 2 of these for the ornament topper as well. Let's just do that one there. All right, I'm going to cut these over here just so I don't have to disrupt my whole table over there again to die cut. I didn't have as much prepped as I had planned, but that's kind of par for the course, right? Sometimes it's fun just to craft on the fly. And hope I don't drop everything. We're getting there. All right. Little pieces didn't want to come off. Craft roulette. Is that like the crafting on a fly? You just spin the little roulette wheel and wherever it lands, that's what you do? All right. We're done with this. I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up these dies just so I don't lose anything. 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yep, 11. Yes, he did. I asked him if he was selling anything because we're not buying. And then he got kind of friendly with Sala there, huh? He might still be watching. He's just not chatting. Who knows? All right. So we are going to put this here. We're going to put one of these. Well, he didn't admit to selling anything, but when I had looked up some of his keywords one of the last times he was on, it's like it came up to some kind of glitter glue stuff. And the purpose of not my page is my business, nobody else's business. All right. And then this is going to come on here. And I think I'm going to put, excuse me, I'm going to put glue down here, but then we'll put it up on a dimensional. Isn't this fun? Just a very simple design. Yes, he did mention glitter glue. And then he had the little cherries icon and said something about cherry on top. And that was another one that kind of came up with the glitter glue stuff. So I don't know, but like I said, my page, my channel is for my business, not for somebody else to come in and run their business on it. So, all right. So, oh, I guess I need that again. We're going to put a couple little pieces here because these are going to kind of be our embellishments. The glitter glue, yeah, I'm not even sure what I don't know. And that might have been the night we were talking too, that because I think I told him then, I don't do glitter. Glitter makes me crazy, or makes me crazier. Oh, and I guess it wanted me to have 5 if I'm going to follow the sample. So I'll cut one more of those little diamond things. Yeah, it was something like cherry on top. And I Googled it, or I don't know if I Googled it or if I looked it up on YouTube. I think I just Googled it. But I wasn't interested because, oh, and I might not have clicked into it because the other thing is, I don't know if clicking into something is going to be a site that I don't want to be a part of. And I don't want to click in and start getting bombarded with other sites that I don't want to be on, if you know what I mean. So I just looked at, whatever little description Google or AI gave me, and that was it. Oh, and I just cut the wrong piece. I need the diamonds. Whoops. All right, I'm paying attention now. One more cut. There we go. If I can get it off my plate. Well, I do have a lot of law enforcement officials in my family, but I also worked 23 years. Well, I was a supervisor for 19 years in our criminal court division for our county. And I was with the county for 23 plus years. I think I was a supervisor for like 19 plus. So that's kind of cute. And I didn't put this on yet um, just because I didn't yet. Because we need some twine. And we're going to, I want to do this because it shows a bow. Yeah, somebody did say the other night that it was some kind of adhesive, not really a glitter glue. He might have even said that. But I don't know if it always stays tacky or what. But either way, I'm not interested. And again, it's my page. Don't try to sell your stuff on my page. All right, so this is going to go up here, and we're going to put another little piece. And I'm just going to take, when I trim these, I can take a little piece from here because that's going to get put here. So let's attach the twine right here first. Since I neglected to do that the last time because I thought what I was doing was going to work so beautifully. We'll do that. And then I'm going to use tear tape again. I'm trying to read some of these comments. I'll have to catch up on some of these. Who's live YouTube or private Zoom invite? I think I missed part of the conversation, but that's okay. All right, so this is going to come on here. Oh, do I want to do? I think I want to do dimensionals on that after all. Let's get some of these. Oh, craft roulette. Okay. I kind of forgot about that. And my sheet of the larger black dimensionals is emptied. So I'm just getting large dimensionals by going around the outside of my little dimensionals one. And is that supposed to be YT for YouTube? All right, so this is going to go here. And I think I'm just going to trim this off here. And, oh, I forgot to put a bow on there. Here. We'll get a glue dot for that. Oh, you're welcome. Duh, of course. I was looking up before and saw the YouTuber private Zoom, and I'm thinking, is that supposed to be YouTube? You're welcome makes more sense. All right, I'm just trying to roll this up really small into my little itty bitty burrito. All right, and that can go right there, and that'll help hold that top one kind of in place. I'm not going to do anything else with that piece. I'm just going to let it sit there. And there's our little note card. Isn't that cute? So thanks to Stampin' Up! For the ideas, because I cheated tonight and just followed their examples. So here are the 3 little things we did tonight. And that's all I'm going to do tonight. Oh, Fifi, you didn't see the cards from last night. And for whatever reason, that video hasn't dropped yet. I don't know why. What did I do with the cards from last night? Well, I had them here. There they are. I did the new Merry Christmas stamp last night. So, and then I used some dies. I didn't put that on there yet, but I think I'm going to. So Merry Christmas. This I die cut. Juju made me die cut those little flowers. Here's another one that we did. The new red ribbon that's kind of shimmery. That's really pretty. And then this with the pool party, non-traditional. And then this one that I will also do a snowflake on because I think it looks cuter. And then maybe some little embellishment in the middle. Who knows? All right. So, yes, that red ribbon is gorgeous. So that's all I've got for you tonight, everybody, ladies and gents. If our gent is still watching. The Merry Christmas on white. This one. Or this one. Or this one. Yeah, those on white were good. But this is in person. It looks, that didn't go flat. I embossed that. So it's shimmery. So it does stand out more than it might on camera. So these are all embossed, actually. So like what I did with this piece, I put the Versamark on the stamp first, and then I tapped with the ink, and then I put it on the paper, added the clear embossing powder, and then heat set it so that it's shimmery. I'm not sure. Hopefully you can see some of that shimmer in the camera. Whoops, my little thing came off here. I guess I didn't press my dimensional down hard enough. All right, so these are all embossed, even the ones on the plaid, especially the ones on the plaid. I wanted embossed because it did help them stand out a little bit. Now this one is with the Memento Black. This one I did with Secret Sea to go with the paper. So that one's not quite as crisp looking as the black. Yeah, and these I think I kind of agree. These have just a cleaner, fresh look to them. But I have plenty of people I can send those to that they won't mind. And then those little snowflakes are going to go on those that I embossed the white snowflakes on. And this one I just did tone on tone snowflakes, but I like them embossed in white. Yeah, this stamp is really fun. It's the only one in there, and it's pretty expensive for just a single stamp, but I think it's stunning. So, all right, I'm going to call it a morning. It's 1:15 here in Wisconsin. Oh, no, Sally, you're fine. You're fine. I get it. Um, but the white with the lettering on it really is, it's a much crisper look. I agree. So, but I wanted to play. I wanted to see, what it would look like. And one of the samples I had seen, I thought, no, I think what they did was they did a white strip just like I did here and used the plaid. But I wanted to see what it looked like on the plaid embossed straight on it. So I did. You never know if you don't try, right? So here's these from tonight. I think they're all quite fun. Each one individually went pretty quickly. So this little ornament is pretty fun. We could probably make a fancy card and have it open up and do one of those things, right? That would be fun. I might try that. Oh, no, don't ever worry about that. I mean, unless you call me a really nasty name or something, it doesn't bother me. I love hearing other opinions, and what looks good and what doesn't. Um, and one thing that somebody likes, another might not like, and then something I don't like, somebody watching might really love too. So it's all good. It's all sharing ideas. I'm good with that. So anytime you have an idea, just say so. All right. Thanks for popping in, everybody. I appreciate it. I enjoy having the chat going on and a little conversation. It makes it a little bit more fun. So until next time, good night, good morning, enjoy your day. And until next time, happy crafting. Now I'll see if I can get my other device to come up. Doesn't look like that one wanted to go live. There we go. And I'll just add my little thank you everyone for joining me. And thanks for all the hearts too. I appreciate that. See you next time.